Hey guys, what's up? Spectre here, and it's time for another Cyberpunk update. Recently, CD Projekt producer John Mamais sat down for an interview where he divulged some details about the studio's take on VR, in-game drug use and violence, and even some features that may be getting overlooked by fans and media alike. Let's get right into it. With CD Projekt Red touting its cinematic cutscenes and immersive first-person animations, fans wouldn't be blamed for thinking that Cyberpunk would be a good fit for VR. But it turns out that it just wouldn't work well. According to Mamais, the studio actually tried it, and it turns out that it wasn't viable, and technically speaking, some things just didn't work. He also noted that the tech is still too niche to be financially viable, and while they'd love to utilize the tech, they have no plans to do so for Cyberpunk. CD Projekt has been rather forward with its intention to create a mature experience in their upcoming game. However, in certain markets, that might get them into a bit of trouble. Australia has a reputation for banning games that take their use of drugs or violence too far. Juice, prominently displayed in the gameplay and marketing so far, is one such performance-enhancing substance, but due to its fictional nature and the absence of any actual modern street drugs, Mamais thinks the studio is safe. Sexual violence is another huge no-no for games in Australia, and while Mamais concedes that it's a real-world issue that could exist in the world of Cyberpunk, the player will never be involved in any situation of the sort, calling that sort of depiction awful and tasteless. The tech behind Cyberpunk has been blowing audiences away since our first look at gameplay. But when asked about tech that might be flying under the radar, the CD Projekt Red producer cited the game's revolutionary lighting system and robust audio, stating, "There's some stuff that hasn't been talked about, such as the way it's been lit. Our director keeps talking about the real-time global illumination system, which we haven't really seen in its full beauty yet. No one in the public has seen how it's finally going to look. It's going to look more breathtaking than we've seen so far. Also, the sound. The acoustic system that one of our sound programmers came up with is going to sound really realistic because of the way they're using the geometry. It creates this reverb effect so that it changes as the space changes. If I were a rich gamer, I'd definitely go out and buy a Dolby Atmos system to listen to this game. It's going to be very immersive, deep, and beautiful sounding." We were also given details about side quests in the upcoming title, as Mamais stated that there are around 75 street stories. The game's unique, handcrafted side quests designed to level up your character while helping you explore the city. And there'll also be more minor activities. And the final nugget came from a question about multiplayer, where Mamais remained tight-lipped, refusing to give any details. Except that we may hear more in, quote, a year or something, as it's a completely separate experience and the studio is focused on single-player. And that's it for this Cyberpunk update. Remember, all my sources are always in the description below for those of you who'd like to read further. And make sure to sub for more coverage of Cyberpunk 2077. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.